This podcast is sponsored by ScienceBasedLearning.com. Discover your passion for languages with our innovative ebook, audiobook, and video system. Maximize retention using spaced repetition. Start your journey today.
Cognitive Load Theory in Language. Education, Tips for Adult Language Learners. Learn how cognitive load theory can improve adult language learning by managing mental effort and boosting retention with science-backed techniques. Cognitive Load Theory in Language Education, what every adult learner should know. If you've ever struggled with learning a new language as an adult, you're not alone. Many language learners face common hurdles, and one of the biggest hidden challenges is managing cognitive load. If this term sounds unfamiliar, don't worry. In this post, we'll explore cognitive load theory and why understanding it can significantly improve your language acquisition journey. What is cognitive load theory? Cognitive load theory, CLT, was originally developed to explain how people process and learn new information. In simple terms, it focuses on the amount of mental effort and working memory capacity you need to handle incoming information. Your brain can only process a limited amount of data at one time, especially when you are learning something new, like a language. Think of your working memory as a small backpack. You can only carry so much at once before it gets too heavy and slows you down. Cognitive load theory is about managing what you put in that backpack so that it doesn't overwhelm you and hinder your ability to absorb new information. Types of cognitive load. Intrinsic load. This relates to the complexity inherent to the material you're learning. For example, learning basic vocabulary might have a lower intrinsic load compared to mastering complex grammar rules. Extraneous load. This is unnecessary or distracting information that doesn't help learning. Imagine trying to practice verb conjugations while being bombarded with loud background noise. This extraneous load makes it harder to focus. Germane load. This is the mental effort dedicated specifically to learning and processing the material. It's the productive load that actually helps build your language skills. Why cognitive load matters in language learning. When adult language learners face high cognitive loads, especially extraneous load, learning becomes inefficient or stalls completely. Research in the science of language learning shows that reducing unnecessary cognitive burden can improve retention, fluency, and confidence. As an adult, your working memory capacity is more fixed compared to children, who might absorb languages more naturally at an early age. This means that smart management of how language input is delivered is crucial for successful adult language learning. Applying cognitive load theory to your language study. Start small and build gradually. Try to limit the number of new concepts you tackle in a single session. For instance, focus on a handful of vocabulary words or one grammar point instead of trying to cram too much at once. Use clear, well-structured materials. Materials that align with cognitive load principles present information logically and remove unnecessary distractions. This supports your brain in focusing on key language patterns without getting overwhelmed. Incorporate spaced repetition. Relearning material at optimized intervals lightens cognitive load because you're reviewing known material rather than constantly processing new information. This method strengthens a memory and a language retention. Engage multiple channels. Combine audio, visual, and kinesthetic input to help your brain store and recall language better. This multimodal approach spreads cognitive load across different sensory pathways. Interact and practice meaningfully. Rather than just memorizing, use the language actively in conversations, writing, or listening exercises, so your brain contextualizes and integrates knowledge more effectively. Examples of cognitive load in real-life language learning. Imagine you're trying to learn a new language using a textbook filled with long explanations, several grammar rules on one page, and complex examples without translations. This overwhelms your working memory with extraneous load and lowers your ability to grasp the material. On the other hand, an online language program that introduces new phrases one at a time, with simple explanations and spaced review sessions, helps your brain use its cognitive resources productively, germane load. This makes the learning process smoother and faster, especially in adult language learning contexts. The science behind efficient language learning. If you want to optimize your study sessions based on cognitive load theory and the broader science of language learning, consider tools built specifically with these principles in mind. For example, ScienceBasedLearning.com offers a simple ebook, audiobook, and video language learning system combined with an online practice app that uses the science behind spaced repetition to maximize your learning and retention. This system minimizes extraneous cognitive load by presenting material in manageable chunks, allows learners to pace themselves, and reinforces previous lessons through carefully timed reviews. All of this supports long-term language acquisition by respecting the limits of working memory and harnessing your brain's natural learning rhythms. Final thoughts. Understanding cognitive load theory gives you a powerful edge in how to learn a language more effectively as an adult. By managing the load on your brain, breaking tasks into smaller parts and engaging with clear science-backed materials, you can make adult language learning less frustrating and more rewarding. Remember, it's not always about spending more hours studying, but studying smarter. Ready to improve your language acquisition process with a method rooted in science? Check out ScienceBasedLearning.com. Their combined ebook, audiobook, video system, and app use cognitive load principles and spaced repetition to help you learn faster and remember longer.